Let's talk about something that almost everyone chases, stresses over, dreams about, and sometimes even loses themselves for, and that's money. Now, before you assume this is another money is evil message, don't worry, it's not. Money is a tool, and a very powerful one. I've made this a point by making a finance series on the channel, and it can change your life. It can open doors, and it can absolutely make things a fuck ton easier, but there's a huge misconception that money, by itself, guarantees happiness. And today, we're going to break that myth, not with cliches, but with simple truths about your life, your psychology, and how humans are fulfilled. Because the truth is this: money won't make you happy. And here's why. Let's start with something that almost no one wants to admit. Money without purpose leads to just being fucking empty. So think about it. At first, you start making more money than you ever have before. And it feels amazing. You finally get to buy what you want, go where you want, and stop worrying about every little bill. You feel powerful. You feel like you've made it. It's intoxicating. I'm currently trying to get there, and I'm very curious to see how I'm going to handle it. And I've been there in phases in my life as well prior to where I'm at now. But after you get there, something strange happens. The excitement fades and the purchases you once dreamed of lose the thrill. You start craving more, not because you need it, but because you think it will help you feel that same rush that you felt before. And when it doesn't, you feel lost. Because without purpose, money has no direction. It can't tell you what to value. It can't tell you who you are. It can't create meaning for you. And over time, that emptiness grows. It's like climbing the ladder that's leaning against the wrong wall. You keep going up, but when you get there, you realize you're nowhere near where you wanted to be. So here's the thing that most people miss. Money is only meaningful when it has something meaningful to support. And that's purpose, vision, contribution, growth. Without those things, money becomes nothing more than numbers in an account, a scoreboard with no actual game being played. Now, the second truth is beyond meeting your basic needs, happiness does not continue rising with income. There's actually decades of psychological research on this. Once you can pay your bills, live safely, eat, and take care of yourself, more money doesn't automatically translate to more joy. Yes, making enough to avoid financial stress will absolutely improve your happiness, and that part is 100% real. But once your essential needs are handled, something interesting happens. And that is you return to your emotional baseline. In other words, you adapt. Humans are built for adaptation. It's why a raise feels exciting at first, but a few months later. It's why a new car feels incredible until it becomes just your car. It's why millionaires can still be miserable, and it's why people with less money can be extremely content. Happiness is less about what you have and more about how you live. If you ever find yourself thinking, once I make X amount of money, then I'll be happy, and you're setting yourself up for a huge fucking disappointment. Because even if you reach that number, your life won't magically transform into a perfect movie scene. You'll still be you with your habits, your insecurities, your mindset, your emotional patterns, and money doesn't rewrite that story. It just gives you a bigger stage. So if money doesn't create lasting happiness, what does? And that brings us to the third truth, and the most important one. Fulfillment comes from contribution and growth. Think back to the moments you felt genuinely proud of yourself, not the moments where you bought something cool and impressed somebody, but the moments where you actually felt like you fulfilled part of your life. Chances are, those moments involve doing something meaningful, helping someone, achieving a personal goal, learning something difficult, building something from scratch, or pushing yourself into a new direction. I got this yesterday. I built a workbench out of pretty shitty wood that I had laying around the house from an old swing set, and the workbench sucks. It's horrible. It wobbles, screws, some of the parts of the wood is dry rotted, but I felt pretty good that I built something because I haven't built anything since woodshop my senior year in high school, and that was unfortunately 10 years ago. So it felt good. And fulfillment is deeply connected to who you become and what you give, not what you accumulate. So contribution is powerful because it connects you to something bigger than yourself. When you use your money, time, or skills to help others, something shifts inside you. You start to feel purpose. You start to feel connected. You feel valuable. Not because someone told you, but because you can see the difference that you're making. Growth is your internal proof that you're moving forward. Humans are wired to evolve. We want to be stronger, wiser, more capable, and more resilient. So when you grow, your confidence changes, your mindset changes, your energy changes, and yes, your happiness changes too. Money can support your growth, but it can't replace it. Money can amplify your contribution, but it can't create it. These things often come from within. There are plenty of people who have all the money they could ever need, but wake up every day feeling empty. And there are people with modest incomes who feel deeply fulfilled because they live with intention, purpose, and connection. And that's the real difference. So let's dig deeper. Why is society so obsessed with the idea that money equals happiness? And part of it's from conditioning. From a young age, we're taught that success is measurable, that it comes with badges, titles, brand names, and bank accounts. We're shown lifestyles, not lives, and we see the highlight reel and not the emotional reality behind it. Another part of is survival instinct. When you don't have enough money, it becomes the focus of your entire world, and understandably so. Financial scarcity is stressful. It drains your mental energy, makes everything harder. So when people finally get a little breathing room, it's natural to assume that more money means more security, and logically, more happiness. But again, that only holds true until your basic needs are met. After that, you hit the plateau. Your emotional return on money starts to drop sharply. So what does this mean for you? It means if you're chasing money, hoping it will solve deeper emotional dissatisfaction, you're running in the wrong direction. Money can fix money problems, but it can't fix meaning problems. If your life feels empty, no paycheck can fill that void, only purpose can. Let's talk about what a purpose-driven life actually looks like. A purpose-driven life is one where your actions align with your values, where you're not just existing, you're progressing. You're not just making money, you're creating impact, developing skills, helping others, and building something that matters. You wake up with direction. You go to bed feeling like your day meant something. And if you notice, none of what I just said actually requires being rich. Money can enhance purpose, but it can't create it. Think of money like fuel. If you don't know where you're driving, a full tank isn't going to help. But if you have a clear destination, the fuel becomes incredibly powerful. Another thing people don't talk about enough is how dangerous the "I'll be happy when" mindset is. It pushes happiness into the future, and it makes joy conditional. It trains your brain to delay satisfaction indefinitely, and worst of all, creates a cycle where you're always chasing something and never arriving. True happiness isn't found in a future milestone, it's found in daily alignment. Now, let's get practical. How do you actually create a lifestyle where money supports your happiness instead of pretending to be the source of it? First, define your values. What matters to you? What makes you feel alive? What do you want to contribute to the world? What kind of person do you want to become? When you know your values, you can use money to strengthen those areas instead of distracting yourself from meaning. Second, invest in growth. Use your resources, which is your time, your money, your energy, to learn, build, create, and evolve. Growth is one of the few things that gives you lasting satisfaction. It sticks and it compounds. Third, give back, not just financially. I mean, if you can, cool. Give your attention, give your time, give your kindness, give your expertise. Contribution doesn't require wealth, it requires willingness. And for those people, I go into this hole myself where I feel like I'm not good enough at anything to give advice on anything. And then I find myself in situations where I realize that I know a lot more than other people, regardless of whether or not I think I'm good at it. Like I helped a kid, an 11-year-old, learn how to read pick and roll screens in basketball. I can explain that in a different video. This kid's 11. Now, I have 1 year semi-professional basketball under my belt. 1 year. I didn't play high school, I didn't play college. But the fact is that I knew more about pick and rolls and how to read the drop defense or hedging than he did. I knew how to operate at a triple threat, and this kid's 11. So maybe I couldn't teach an adult that played pro basketball how to do those things, but I could teach this kid that. I'm a blue belt in jiu-jitsu. I had a white belt who's been training for about 4 or 5 months, so I've been in his position at 4 or 5 months with this gym. I was competing, and I was very nervous, and he had questions about how to maintain mount and where to apply pressure, and I was able to help him with that. So while I don't feel like I'm an expert in either basketball or jiu-jitsu, I actually know enough to help at a fundamental level. So for those who don't feel like they have any expertise, look at the things that you did at any level and then work down. If you never played in the NBA, you probably shouldn't be helping Division I college players. But if you played semi-pro, you could help high school players. You could help middle school players. It's an option. Back on track here. Fourth, build relationships, real ones, the kinds where you can be honest, vulnerable, and feel supported. Study after study shows that strong relationships are one of the biggest predictors of long-term happiness. Money can make those relationships easier, but it can't create them for you. Fifth, practice gratitude. And this is not the cheesy version. This is real gratitude, the kind where you actually pause, recognize what's good in your life right now, and gratitude interrupts the more cycle that helps you see what you're already surrounded by and the things that are worth appreciating. And lastly, anchor your goals in your purpose, not your ego. Don't chase a number because it sounds impressive or because society says it matters. Chase the goal that aligns with who you want to be. Chase goals that make you proud on the inside, not just admired on the outside. So the truth that most people discover too late is money gives you comfort, but purpose gives you life. Money makes life easier, but growth makes life meaningful. Money can't buy pleasure, but contribution creates fulfillment. Money's important. There's absolutely no denying that, but it's not the foundation of happiness. Happiness comes from living intentionally, growing consistently, and loving deeply, and making a difference. If you can master those things, the role money plays in your life transforms. It becomes a supporter, not a savior, a tool and not the goal. And ironically, when you stop worshiping money and start focusing on purpose, you end up creating more wealth anyways, because purpose fuels discipline, focus, creativity, and resilience. So don't fall into the trap of thinking money will fix everything. It won't, and it never has, and it never will. But when you build a life based on meaning, contribution, and growth, something incredible happens. Happiness actually becomes sustainable. The happiest points of my life were where I was helping. I remember training a middle schooler and a high schooler to make their teams. And, maybe the high schooler didn't make the team, but the middle schooler did. And he was a sixth man, and I was very proud of that. And it was a 3-month period where they were at my house 4 days a week, and we were training. And I felt really good about that. So, focus on that. Fulfillment becomes the baseline. And money becomes what it's always meant to be, which is an enhancer of the life you already have. If there's one thing to take away from this video: chase purpose, not profit; chase growth, not income; and chase fulfillment, not just financial success. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, drop a like and subscribe. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.